social isolation is ruining your life. As a massage therapist, I've experienced this over the last 12 years more than anyone. You're talking about an expert in social isolation ruining your life? Talking to me, talking to the OG, talking to the guy who's experienced everything from anxiety, depression, lack of networking, not dating for years, not going out, having subtle stress build up, suppressing loneliness, just pretending like all you need is your books, the internet, your food, work, and money. It's a lie. It's such a pernicious lie. Isolation will strangle you. It will strangle your enthusiasm for life. It will strangle your business. You're going to be poorer. You're going to be unhealthy. And science is showing this. You look at Daniel Kahneman, social scientist, anthropologist, and he's talking about how human beings need social interaction. You need a certain amount of hugs every single day. You need physical touch. And just because you're touching other people in a quiet massage room does not mean that you're getting the oxytocin that you need. A lot of massage can be very mechanical, especially when you're burning out and you're not feeling it. And so I was shy ever since I was young. I was homeschooled 1st to 5th grade. And it's just always been easier for me to go to the video games. Always has been my sanctuary. Books later became my sanctuary. Religion became my sanctuary. Praying and meditation became an easy escape. And so I neglected the social aspect of my life. You have friends here and there. You'll maybe talk to them on the phone, play video games with them. But I find that a lot of massage therapists, they actually tend to be the loners. They tend to actually be a good majority of the people who are a little bit more to themselves. And so when it comes to healing, when it comes to vitality, when it comes to being a more successful massage therapist, it's so important to talk about this, that you don't want social isolation to ruin your life. What do you want? Well, I know you want more money. That's what I wanted. I wanted more money. I wanted more friends. I wanted to play more sports with people, but I didn't have the energy. I wanted to date people, but I didn't have the energy. So you get into this low energy state where you're stuck. You're a little bit burnt out. You're low energy. So you socially isolate. So this is where it's so important to say, well, how do I get out of this funk? People say they're in a weird spot. They're stuck. They're in this funk. They're in a downward spiral. They're stuck. They don't know what to do. Midlife crisis. And maybe you're only 27, maybe you're 25, maybe you're 30, maybe you're 35. It can happen to anyone based on the stress in your life and how resilient you are. And so I found myself several times through my career realizing, oh man, I'm in this funk. I gotta break out. But I didn't know how to break out, because then when I would go out and socialize, I'd be so low energy that it would be hard to socialize. It would feel forced. I would even feel like it takes energy to say words. I go to kava bars and I would kind of just like hit a fan. Not all the time, but it was a struggle. Going out to clubs and bars, and the best is when you have your friends and you can go out and pump each other's state. Go out and do something fun, play sports, do something like a hobby that you're interested in. That's more my style. I learned the hard way. Going out to bars and clubs is definitely not my style. So, but even so, there would be times where I'd want to go to a kava bar, or I'd want to go to a yoga class, or I'd want to go to a drum circle or church. A lot of times I'd go and I'd be antisocial, wouldn't have the energy. Burnout sucks. Burnout really sucks. That's why I really just want to talk more and more and more about how to beat burnout, how to get back your vitality, how to get back your energy. Because my story was, it prevented me from being vibrant. It prevented me from being my optimum self. It prevented me from attracting the person and the people that I really wanted. You can always get somebody, but are they also going to be a little bit toxic? Interesting that we use that word, toxic. So little did I know I had to detox to regain my energy, my enthusiasm, my mojo. I call it my Bravo. Get back that Johnny Bravo. He's always out doing stuff. And I didn't feel like that anymore. I used to have that. And so I struggled for a long time, guys. I go to church, and church and singing definitely has a very healing, energizing aspect to it. Really does. But nothing really clicked. Nothing really brought me back the entire vitality until I set up boundaries. That's the magic word. I got that from my massage therapist, professor, mentor, Amy. She said it took her 54 years to figure out how to understand and actually maintain the right boundaries. So let's talk about it a little bit. How many massage sessions are you doing per day? And how many should you be doing today if you really were taking care of yourself? How much time do you need to take off to really take care of yourself? These are all boundaries. What kind of people should you not work with for your ultimate well-being? I would always work with certain people who kind of pissed me off. Really snooty, arrogant people who just don't care about you, people who are always late, people who are always asking for more time, people who are always haggling for a discount. Cut those people out. I had to learn the hard way. I needed boundaries. I needed boundaries on professional boundaries. I needed boundaries on what clients I would work with that actually, pump my state, that I'm happy to see. Why would you work with people that you don't want to touch? It's such an intimate thing. It's like you're almost kissing them. Don't kiss people that, aren't up to your boundaries. Don't touch people who aren't up to your standards. We have to have standards in massage therapy, or else it hurts you. Don't dishonor yourself. You have to honor yourself to protect your own boundaries and your own health. It's kind of like dating. Don't date someone that takes away your energy. Only date someone that adds to your state. That's actually that's a peacock. You ever hear one of those? Pretty cool, right? He's doing his Pokemon call. You want to see it? He's hiding behind that Jeep. What's he doing behind that Jeep? This is Coconut Grove, Miami. Look at how beautiful that guy is. Hey, buddy. We heard you calling. You want to play tag? He's just being shy. The guys with the feathers are actually the males. The ones that don't have the plume are the females. I always see them around. There's hundreds of them around Coconut Grove, Miami. It's so beautiful. It's amazing. So, I didn't have the boundaries. I was dating all these people that I didn't like. And that's really what you're doing as a massage therapist, is you're dating all of your clients, because an energetic exchange happens that impacts your health dramatically, because you're exchanging so much information. The yogic sciences talk about this. They call it runanabandha. You're exchanging emotional data. You're exchanging physical data. Even dogs can sense this. The bacteria, the microbiome on your skin. Being around someone, you mentally transmit data too. You spend time around someone who's negative or angry or stuck up or prideful, you get a little bit of that. And the more intimate you are with that person, the more of everything that they are you get. Wow, look at this peacock. Crikey. Look at the plumage on this one. Look at the girth of its stomach. Look at his hairdo. You went to get your hair done this morning, didn't you? You're looking pretty. You're looking so beautiful and vibrant. Look at that shining royal blue. What an amazing creature. Man, God is amazing. This is an amazing world we're in, guys. I really love about Coconut Grove all of the canopies and all of the trees. It's not like there's only one park. The neighborhoods are kind of like crowded with trees like this and mangoes, and sometimes I'll be going through and I'll just pick up mangoes to get a little breakfast. Although I am skipping out on sugar for a while, just in case if, I'm detoxing. The candida loves sugar. So cutting out on the sugar, I'm missing my mangoes. But within a week, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, there's another one. I'll be eating these mangoes that are falling from the trees. It's mango season now. It's a beautiful time. Come see me. We'll go mango hunting together. Throw some Pokeballs and catch some peacocks. So it's kind of like you have to have boundaries on everything. You have to have boundaries on how much you're working. You know, are you doing your self-care? Are you taking the 4-day weekends to detox? Are you taking the week off when you need to? Are you taking the summers off? You know, I had to learn how to plan out my life and actually give myself the luxury to travel, give myself the luxury to not work, the luxury to actually explore and expand spiritually, mentally, psychologically, romantically, you know, artistically. Like, I'm getting a piano now, learning keyboard, I'm learning Spanish, planning a South America trip, planning a trip to Tennessee, gonna probably be living in Tennessee, so gotta start scouting out, making relationships, setting myself up for success for when I go there. So that's gonna be fun. You know, set up farmers markets, tables, start meeting people, making associations. You know, the key to wealth is your network. That's what they always say. You gotta know people, you gotta collaborate, you gotta be in the mix, you gotta have goodwill, you gotta be contributing, you gotta be bouncing the good energy with people, creating great things, building the castle with people. You know, that's what I call it, building the castle together, making friends, making alliances, having fun, getting tea, getting coffee, playing volleyball, doing rock climbing, dancing, doing drum circles, all this stuff. You're gonna see it. I'm gonna be showing you guys this stuff, really magical stuff. And so giving yourself the time to figure out what works for you. Good morning. In your life, it's so important. Like, where do you want to live? Do you have to move? Who do you want to date? Where are they? How are you going to hang out with them? How many times a week are you going to go, you know, over there? I call it finding the Pokemon, going to the tall grass with the right Pokeballs. You know, you got to know who you want, where they are. You got to give yourself time when you're going to go. You got to have the right approach. You know, the Pokeballs, you have to have the right approach. You know, who are you? How are you going to attract them? What are your values? What do you stand for? What's your brand? Like, who are you? Like, all this stuff matters. Like, who do you want to marry? You got to figure this out. But when you're constantly burnt out, when you don't have boundaries, you don't give time to yourself, all this falls by the wayside and you're not nurturing yourself. And so you can't have a bountiful garden. You have to clear the ground. You have to make yourself healthy. Boundaries is the only way. You know, it's like Jesus said with the parable of the farmer throwing seed into the ground. Well, if there's no boundary, then what's going to happen is you're going to have stones and weeds choke out the fruit, the seed that can go into your life and give you fruit. So there has to be boundaries. Like, well, when we're gardening, you put down the weed cloth and you put up the barriers so that the weeds can't encroach. So that's what we have to do in our life. We have to understand boundaries in every single area of our life. How much we're working, who we're working with, what kind of work we're doing. Some people gotta change what kind of work you're doing. Stop stressing yourself out. Some of you gotta build out additional sources of income. So loud over there. So loud over there next to all the cars. So we're gonna hide in here for a second. Oh great, a leaf blower. You know, I was doing a lot of heavy duty deep tissue stuff, but then I switched to more easy massage that gives the client the results still, like learning marma therapy, learning acupressure, learning more stretching. You gotta mix it up so that you're not doing such heavy duty sessions. You know, you gotta relax into it. Do some lighter Swedish stuff. Boundaries. You know, what kind of food are you eating? You know, what's your boundary on how late you're gonna stay up? What's your boundary on how early you're gonna wake up? Are you getting your sleep? What's your boundary on how many times a week you're going to exercise? You have to put boundaries on how much time you're spending at work with other people. Make time for you. Make time for your healing. When's the last time you did a 3-day fast? When's the last time you did a 1-day fast? To detox your body, to completely boost your energy, to clear out all the gunk in your system so that your hormones and your nervous system work, so that your organs are healed. What's your boundary on what you're putting into your body, the type of water you're putting into your body? You know, so just brainstorming with you right now, you know? There's so many things that we can talk about. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just start in one spot. Start a journal. You know, health, wealth, love, and happiness are the 4 areas I want you to start thinking about. Where do you need more boundaries in your health? Write it in the comments below. Where do you need more boundaries on your wealth? Write it below. You know, think about your career. Who do you have to stop working with? What do you have to do in terms of your career? That's how you make wealth. What boundaries do you need to put up with your love, with your relationships, with your social? So put that all below. All this really adds up. All right, post below where you need to change, what you're gonna change with your health, your wealth, your love, and your happiness. All right, Monk Empty, love you very much. I'll see you in the next video, and remember, we're here to heal the world, but to do that, you have to heal yourself. So start with everything that we're talking about, and if you want help, gotta love Miami traffic. It's a 6-lane highway right here. It's constantly full of people. Man, I can't wait to get back to the suburbs. Man, it's good to have a travel rotation, I tell you. Working on getting that travel rotation. You gotta know a couple cities so that you can travel and migrate. It's natural. You know how many species migrate? It's natural to migrate. See, this is another way to nourish your soul, nourish yourself, have boundaries. Like in the summer, I'm not gonna spend more than half the year in a big city. I'm not gonna spend that much time in the summer heat of Miami. Notice I'm taking the stairs. Boundary on taking that elevator. I'm not gonna get stuck in an elevator. Who wants to risk that? I have a boundary. So that's kind of a joke. Although I do oftentimes take the stairs instead of the elevator. But it's very important to have even boundaries on where you're gonna live. And so start thinking about all of these things. I had to switch churches a couple of times here, moving to Miami, finding my boundaries for the people who align right with my spiritual beliefs even. You know, you gotta find your tribe, and you gotta find what works. And to do that, you have to be awake, you have to be paying attention, you have to be running experiments. And that requires a lot of energy and attention. And to get that, what you really need is your health. You need to skyrocket your health. You need 10,000 times the energy that you have right now. 10,000 times. I'm saying that to myself. You know, you think it's impossible, but I think what we have is like half an ounce of energy, figuratively, and what we need is like 100 pounds. It's actually not that much, but compared to where we are, it seems like a lot. 10,000 times, wow. Believe me, people have 10,000 times your energy. People have 1,000,000 times your energy. I'm talking about the famous entrepreneurs, Tony Robbins types, Tai Lopez, Owen Cook. Talking about the gurus out there, Sadhguru, Yogananda, those guys had tremendous energy. They're giants, they're titans. We need to 10,000x our energy. Talking about Grant Cardone, 10x rule? No, 10,000x the energy. And the only way to do that is to optimize your system. You need to optimize your system. You need to take care of the low-hanging fruit, which is your body, which is why I'm always detoxing. ABD, not ABC, not always be closing, always be detoxing. What I just did there, we're walking, we're detoxing. And so that's why I put together this 7-day cleanse. As simple as just taking herbs. You know, there's further programs. If you're a beginner, what I want you to do is get the 7-day cleanse because it's so easy. It's as easy as waking up in the morning, taking your herbs, telling you all the right herbs that you take morning, afternoon, and night. And you're gonna be detoxing to get back your energy, your vitality, your charisma, your bravo, your beauty. And it fixes everything about your system, really. It really helps even your sleep, your skin, your workouts in the gym, your overall vibe. People are gonna tell her, you're gonna be saying, wow, you feel like you're vibrant, you feel more like juiced up, you feel pumped up, you know? And so that's really, really important. So I want beginners to get that 7-day cleanse. And what it shows you how to do is so simple. Just by incorporating the right herbs, boom, you're making a huge difference in your life. So if you're really hardcore, you can still do this. If you're just a beginner, do this. If you're really hardcore, then what you're gonna need is something a little bit more advanced than this. But do this first. If you're more hardcore, then start learning the fasting. Fasting isn't hardcore, but what I find is a lot of beginners might just want to take herbs. If you're ready for fasting, then get my 7-day miracle fasting challenge, you know? So that's a little bit different than the cleanse challenge. There's a cleanse, which is beginner, the fasting challenge 7-day, which is intermediate, and then the full-on master cleanse, the master detox, talking about a full-on panchakarma detox that takes like a month to completely reset and overhaul everything. That's for the people who are serious, for the people who really want to transform, and not just a little bit of change that feels great, but they want a complete transformation. You want to shave 5 years off your aging. You want to feel like you did in your 20s. See, this is the real rejuvenation. This is what people went for, like a pilgrimage in India for a month, and they just stay for a month. It's like an ashram. See, for that, you need a different level of commitment. So if you're a beginner, click below and get the 7-day cleanse. If you're intermediate, get the fast, but do the cleanse first. What you're gonna do is at the end of the cleanse, there's a link for the 7-day fasting challenge, okay? And then if you do that, then it tells me that you're ready for the advanced master cleanse. Then you can apply for that, because that's a master class. That's a group that has only a certain amount of people that can enter into it, because I only have so much time to coach a certain amount of people. So get those free guides, start detoxing and cleansing, and I'm telling you, you're gonna feel so changed, so charged up, just doing these 2 free things. And then if you're really serious and you really want to reverse everything about your health and make a complete transformation, then the secret is completely cleansing every cell in your body from all the toxins. You're gonna feel born again, okay? All right, so you have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe if this has helped you, so that, you know, we can grow this channel, because we're out to heal the world. We're all healers. We're here to heal the world together. I'll see you in the next video.